ELI5 If atoms are made of protons, neutrons and electrons, then what are photons made up of? Photons aren't made of anything, they're an elementary manifestation of something. They're electromagnetic waves. They arise directly from the electromagnetic field. They are, in a way, the simplest particle we know of, with the fewest, most elementary attributes. They have an energy from which you can calculate momentum or wavelength and spin. That's it. Note, I'm not saying things are made from photons, they're not building blocks of other things, that's not how it works. But they really are elementary, they just pop out, as they are, out of the maths that describes electromagnetism. Once you go small enough into core components of the universe, you will hit quantum field theory, where you can imagine an invisible fabric-like field that extends everywhere in the universe, wherein photon is just a ripple in that fabric that can also be observed as both a particle or wave. Not all things have this fabric, but the things that do, are fundamental and cannot be composed of other stuff. You can Google search standard model of elementary particles and it's a list of these field-based particles, and electron and photon are in there. Photons are a set of waves in a neat little package. When I say waves, I mean variations in the magnetic and electric field that permeates everything. You can make them yourself by waving a magnet around in the air. It will be very low power and low frequency, but they will be photons. Photons have no mass and cannot travel slower than the speed of light. They are the least stable particle, they exist for no amount of time. The answers of made of nothing or elementary particles are our current understanding, and may well be true. The answer may also be something different entirely, some subset of entities that combine to generate waves. You are wrong to be thinking light may be composed of multiple discrete but additive elements, but you would be approaching the frontiers of science trying to figure out what those are. Subatomic particles, protons, neutrons, and electrons, are further made up of quarks and or antiquarks. That makes them hadrons, composite subatomic particles. Photons, by contrast, are not made up of anything. They are discrete packets of wave energy. There are no quarks or other subcomponents in photons, as photons have no mass. Photons are the most basic element, they are not made of anything but travel at the speed of light. Interestingly, photons have no mass either, photons are pure energy traveling at light speed. Also interestingly, when photons hit atoms they are absorbed and the energy causes a change in the orbit of electrons around said atom. Photons aren't particles, they are waves on the EM field. While they behave particle-like in some situations, they are always oscillating waves at the QN level. Technically all of the hadrons are field-based waves as well, but each has a field that describes the particle. That's beyond your question though. Proton is made from quarks kept together by gluons. Neutron has similar structure. And electron is one of the smallest particle on its own. And by current theory gluons, quarks, electrons, protons are spikes on energetic fields and cannot be partible. This whole thread got hijacked by people hung up on photons. There is a whole world of subatomic particles out there. Basic proton, neutrons are made up of quarks and there are whole families of particles made up of quarks. Check it out! Photons aren't made of anything. They are elementary particles, meaning they have no smaller parts. In that, they are just like electrons. Electrons are elementary particles too, but protons and neutrons are not. Electrons are very strange. Richard Feynman once postulated that there is only one electron in the universe, and it's the same one that makes up everything. Photons might be even stranger. Photons are the waves of a blip of energy, that comes from an electron dropping an arbitrary number of distances closer to the nucleus of the atom that the electron is orbiting. Photons are made of photon. They are an elementary particle in the quantum of the electromagnetic field and the force carrier for the electromagnetic force. Nothing. Photons are fundamental particles, they're not made up of anything smaller. There are 17 known fundamental particles, including photons.